don't know if you know, but War Is A Racket.
Huh?
I didn't make that up. That was made up by a guy named General Smedley, who was, when he died, the most decorated veteran in America. He wrote a book in the 1930s after he had served in World War I and what have you. And it was called War Is A Racket. And I just want to read one paragraph from that book. War is a racket. It always has been. It is possibly the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is the only one international in scope. It is the only one in which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. A racket is best described, I believe, as something that is not what it seems to the majority of people. Only a small inside group knows what it is about. It is conducted for the benefit of a very few at the expense of very many. Out of war, a few people make huge profits. So that was by a guy named
Smedley.
General Smedley.
So he was some liberal hippie. That,
Yeah, he was general.
Tree hugging general.
Yes. And he wrote that in 1935. He pointed out in 1935 that the U.S. was engaging in military war games in the Pacific. Did you know that? I didn't know that. In 1935, prior to World War II, the United States was engaging in war games in the Pacific that were bound to provoke the Japanese. Smedley says the Japanese, a proud people, of course, will be pleased beyond expression to see the United States fleet so close to Nippon shore. Even as pleased as would be the residents of California, were they to dimly discern through the morning mist the Japanese fleet playing at war games off Los Angeles. So he's being sarcastic and saying that, what are we doing over there? What are we asking for, a war? I didn't know that happened. Did you know that happened, Graham?
No, I did not know
Did
that
you know that happened, Ben?
I bet Robert knew.
That's goddamn right.
That's right. Robert, internment camp, Yasamura.
Actually, my people were busy farming up north in California.
Yeah,
being good fucking Americans.
Yeah, that's right.
Farming, another word for spying. Go on, Jimmy.
So that's right.
And by the way, not for nothing, but this Smedley guy, I'm pretty sure the American Navy doing war games in the Pacific isn't what made Japan invade China.
Right, that's a fair point.
That's a fair point.
That is a fair point.
That is a fair point. Japan had a couple of irons in the fire, so to speak, with regards to World War II.
Oh, yeah. So he proposed a few things to stop us from doing these kind of war profiteering moves. And the first one, he said, was make war unprofitable. He suggests that owners of capital should be conscripted before other citizens are. Quote, it can be smashed effectively only by taking the profit out of war.
Right.
The only way to smash this racket is to conscript capital and industry and labor before the nation's manhood can be conscripted. Let the officers and the directors and the high-powered executives of our armament factories and our steel companies and our munitions makers and our shipbuilders and our airplane builders and the manufacturers of all other things that provide profit in times of war, as well as the bankers and the speculators, be conscripted to get $30 a month, the same wage as the lads in the trenches get. So what they're saying is if you work at a company and your company makes stuff that's going to be used in a war and it's sold in a war, you're going to get paid the same wage as soldiers get paid, no matter where you work in that company.
Yeah.
During a war.
Sure.
And that will take the profit motive out of war.
I thought they were suggesting that those guys actually get drafted and have to fight, because that is a surefire way to lose a war.
Well, he's saying that too. That's what he means by conscripted.
Well,
he means
he means he means what Jimmy's saying.
He means that everyone who
basically everybody becomes a public utility,
and you can't get right, and you don't exactly, and
so that's what happens when a war starts: is no one can profit from it.
And here's how he has one more thing. He says acts of war should be decided by those who fight it. He suggests a limited referendum to determine if a war is to be fought, meaning only eligible to vote would be those who risk death at the front lines. So if you are at the age of you would be drafted to go fight, You get to vote on whether we go to war. No one else. The people who would fight in it get to decide if we're going to go fight in it, not the people who don't fight in it.
Yeah, but he wrote that before he got a load of California's referendum system. It's a catastrophe.
So I like those two ideas. Those would be great ideas. They're never going to happen.
I like the first one. I don't like the second one.
Because war is a racket. I like the second
Right, and
one.
that's why we are hearing about this book 80 years later. Like,
Right.
this book hasn't been weird that this book wasn't taught in schools.
I never heard of this book until just the other day.
Yeah.
I was reading somewhere online and I came across it.
It doesn't help that the general sounds like he's a Simpsons character.
You mean General Smedley?
General Smedley.
General Smedley here.
I think it's
Make the man conscripted at the same wage.
I think his name was Butler Smedley.
Even worse.
Of course it was.
His name is Butler Smedley.
It was either that or Beauregard.
Yeah.
General Morgan.
Josephus Smedley.